Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. So Joe Biden, he already took the stage a little bit to discuss his national security picks, but I paused it so that we can all watch it together. Um, and yeah, thought we'll have some fun. Checking to see if I'm using like a new mic setup and some headphones that are kind of delaying the audio, so I'm hoping that it's okay. Um, but we'll see. So if things are off a little bit, just let me know and I'll try to fix that. All right, let's get into Joe.
Folks. Got everybody. Okay.
Hey, Reptile.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm pleased to announce nominations and staff for critical foreign policy and national security positions in my administration. It's a team that will keep our country and our people safe and secure. And it's a team that reflects the fact
ACP,
that
good to see you,
America is back, ready to lead the world, not retreat from it. Once again, sit at the head of the table, ready to confront our adversaries and not reject our allies, ready to stand up for our values. In fact, in calls from world leaders that I've had, about 18 of them or 20 so far, I'm not sure the exact number, in the weeks since we won the election, I've been struck by how much they're looking forward to the United States reasserting its historic role as a global leader, both in the Pacific as well as the Atlantic, all across the world. The team meets this moment, this team behind me. They embody my core beliefs that America is strongest
ACP.
when it works with its allies. Collectively, this team has secured some of the most defining national security and diplomatic achievements in recent memory, made possible through decades of experience working with our partners. That's how we truly keep America safe, without engaging in needless military conflicts and our adversaries in check and terrorists at bay. And that's how we counter terrorism and extremism, control this pandemic and future ones, deal with the climate crisis, nuclear proliferation, cyber threats and emerging technologies that spread authoritarianism, and so much more. And while this team has unmatched experience and accomplishments, they also reflect the idea that we cannot meet these challenges with old thinking and unchanged habits. For example, we're going to have the first woman lead the intelligence community, the first Latino and immigrant to lead the Department of Homeland Security, and a groundbreaking diplomat at the United Nations. We're going to have a principal on the National Security Council whose full-time job is to fight climate change. For the first time ever, that will occur. And my national security team will be coordinated by one of the youngest national security advisors in decades. Experience and leadership, fresh thinking and perspective, and an unrelenting belief in the promise of America. I've long said that America leads not only by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. And I'm proud to put forward this incredible team that will lead by example. As Secretary of State, I nominate Tony Blinken. He's one of the better prepared for this job. No one's better prepared, in my view. He will be the Secretary of State who previously served in top roles on Capitol Hill, in the White House, and in the State Department. He delivered for the American people in each place. For example, leading our diplomatic efforts in the fight against ISIS, strengthening America's alliance and positions in the Asia-Pacific, guiding our responses to the global refugee crisis with compassion and determination. And he will rebuild morale and trust in the State Department, where his career in government began. And he starts off with the kind of relationships around the world that many of his predecessors have had to build over the years. I know, I've seen him in action. Tony's been one of my closest and most trusted advisors. I know him and his family, immigrants and refugees, a Holocaust survivor, who taught him to never take for granted the very idea of America as a place of possibilities. Possibilities. Tony is ready on day one. As Secretary for Homeland Security, I nominate Alejandro Mayorkas. This is one of the hardest jobs in government, a gigantic agency. The DHS Secretary needs to keep us safe from threats at home and from abroad. And it's the job that plays a critical role in fixing our broken immigration system. After years of chaos, dysfunction, and absolute cruelty at DHS, I'm proud to nominate an experienced leader who has been hailed by both Democrats and Republicans. Ali, as he goes by, is a former U.S. attorney, former director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, and a former DHS deputy secretary. Helped implement DACA, prevented attacks on the homeland, enhanced our cybersecurity, helped communities recover from natural disaster, combated Ebola and Zika. And while DHS affects everyone, given its critical role in immigration matters, I'm proud that for the first time ever, the department will be led by an immigrant, a Latino, who knows that we are a nation of laws and values. And one more thing. Today's his birthday. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. He's 21. As a director of national intelligence, I nominate
Joe's got jokes.
Avril Haines,
Joe's
the
got
first
jokes.
woman ever to hold this post. To lead our intelligence community, I didn't pick a politician or a political figure. I picked a professional. She's eminently qualified. Former deputy director of the CIA, former deputy national security advisor to President Obama, and a fierce advocate for telling the truth and leveling with her decisions with the decision makers. Straight up. Nothing unnecessary. I know because I've worked with her for over a decade. Brilliant, humble, can talk literature and theoretical physics, fixing cars, flying planes, running a bookstore cafe, all in a single conversation because she's done all that. And above all, she gets word of a threat, if she gets word of a threat coming to our shores, like another pandemic or foreign interference in our elections, she will not stop raising alarms until the right people take action. People will be able to take her word because she always calls it as she sees it. I believe we are safer with Avril on the watch. I think she can make a great contribution. And as United States Ambassador to the United Nations, I nominate Linda Thomas Greenfield, a seasoned and distinguished diplomat with 35 years in the Foreign Service who never forgot where she came from, growing up in segregated Louisiana. The eldest of 8, her dad couldn't read or write, but she says he was the smartest person she knew. First in her family to graduate from high school, then college, with the whole world literally ahead of her, as her dad and mom taught her to believe. Post in Switzerland, Pakistan, Kenya, the Gambia, Nigeria, Jamaica, Liberia, where she was known as the People's Ambassador. Willing to meet with anyone, an ambassador, a student, working people struggling to get by, and always treating them with the same level of dignity and respect. She was our top State Department official in charge of African policy during the Ebola crisis. She received overwhelming support from her fellow career Foreign Service officers, and she'll be at cabinet status because I want to hear her voice on all the major foreign policy discussions we have. And my national security advisor, I choose Jake Sullivan. He's once-in-a-generation intellect with experience and temperament for one of the toughest jobs in the world. When I was vice president, he served as my national security advisor. He was a top advisor to Secretary of State Clinton. He helped lead the early negotiations that led to the Iran nuclear deal. He helped broker the Gaza ceasefire in 2012, played a key role in Asian-Pacific rebalance in our administration. And in this campaign for the presidency, he served as one of my most trusted advisors on both foreign and domestic policy, including helping me develop our COVID-19 strategy. Jake understands my vision that economic security is national security, and it helps steer what I call a foreign policy for the middle class, for families like his growing up in Minnesota, where he was raised by parents who were educators and taught him the values of hard work, decency, service, and respect. What that means is to win the competition for the future, we need to keep us safe and secure and build back better than ever. We need to invest in our people, sharpen our innovative edge, unite the economic might of our democracies around the world to grow the middle class and reduce inequity, and do things like counter predatory trade practices that our competitors and our adversaries. And before I talk about the final person today, let me talk about this new position. For the first time ever, the United States will have a full-time climate leader who participate in ministerial level meetings. And that's a fancy way of saying they'll have a seat at every table around the world. For the first time ever, there will be a principal on the National Security Council who can make sure climate change is on the agenda in the Situation Room. For the first time ever, we will have a presidential envoy on climate. He will be matched with high-level White House climate policy coordinator and policy-making structure to be announced in December. And that'll lead efforts here in the United States to combat the climate crisis, mobilize action to meet the existential threat that we face. Let me be clear.
That's leadership right there, guys.
I don't for a minute underestimate the difficulties of meeting my bold commitments to fighting climate change. But at the same time, no one should underestimate for a minute my determination to do just that. And as for the man himself, if I had a former Secretary of State who helped negotiate the Paris Climate Accord, or a former presidential nominee, or a former leading senator, or the head of a major climate organization for the job, they would show my commitment to the United States and the whole world. The fact that I picked the one person who is all of these things speaks unambiguously to my commitment. The world will know that with one of my closest friends, John Kerry, he's speaking for America on one of the most pressing threats of our time. No one I trust more. To this team, I thank them for accepting this call to service, and for their families.
Wow.
I thank you all for your sacrifice. You know, we could not do this without you, in my view. Together, these public servants will restore America globally, its global leadership, and its moral leadership, and will ensure that our service members, diplomats, and intelligence professionals can do their job free of politics. They'll not only repair, they'll also reimagine American foreign policy and national security for the next generation. And they'll tell me what I need to know, not what I want to know, what I need to know. To the American people, this team will make us proud to be Americans. And as more states certify the results of this election, there's progress to wrap up our victory. You know, I'm pleased to have received the ascertainment from GSA to carry out a smooth and peaceful transition of power, so our teams can prepare to meet the challenges at hand, to control the pandemic, to build back better, and to protect the safety and security of the American people. And to the United States Senate, I hope these outstanding nominees received a prompt hearing and that we can work across the aisle in good faith to move forward for the country. Let's begin that work to heal and unite America as well as the world. I want to thank you all. May God bless you. May God protect our troops. And now I turn this over, this new team, starting with our next Secretary of State, Tony Blinken. Get my mask here, Tony, so I don't get in trouble. And we're going to clean off the podium.
So Jill doesn't yell at me. So just real quick, it's funny that, you know, in the comments we're talking about digging out of holes, and Joe Biden's whole thing is build back better. Those are two huge shovels he just introduced. An immigrant for
Good afternoon,
DHS, and John Kerry,
President-elect,
a global climate advisor for him.
Thank
Fantastic
you
news
for your trust and your confidence.
That's how it starts.
If confirmed by the United States Senate, I will do everything I can to earn it. Mr. President-elect, working for you, having you as a mentor and friend, has been the greatest privilege of my professional life. So many people have brought me to this day, from college classmates to bandmates, my colleagues in the Clinton and Obama administrations, in the Senate, and at the State Department. I thank them all, and I ask forgiveness for my insatiable appetite for bad puns. Mostly, I'd like to thank my family, sisters and sisters-in-law, brothers-in-law, nieces and nephews, my wonderful in-laws, the Ryans, and especially my wife, Evan Ryan, and our children, John and Lila. They are truly my greatest blessings. For my family, as for so many generations of Americans, America has literally been the last best hope on earth. My grandfather, Maurice Blinken, fled pogroms in Russia and made a new life in America. His son, my father, Donald Blinken, served in the United States Air Force during World War II and then as a United States ambassador. He is my role model and my hero. His wife, Vera Blinken, fled communist Hungary as a young girl and helped future generations of refugees come to America. My mother, Judith Pizarre, builds bridges between America and the world through arts and culture. She is my greatest champion. And my late stepfather, Samuel Pizarre. He was one of 900 children in his school in Białystok, Poland, but the only one to survive the Holocaust after 4 years in concentration camps. At the end of the war, he made a break from a death march into the woods in Bavaria. From his hiding place, he heard a deep rumbling sound. It was a tank, but instead of the Iron Cross, he saw painted on its side a 5-pointed white star. He ran to the tank. The hatch opened. An African-American GI looked down at him. He got down on his knees and said the only 3 words that he knew in English that his mother had taught him before the war. God bless America. That's who we are. That's what America represents to the world, however imperfectly. Now, we have to proceed with equal measures of humility and confidence. Humility because, as the President-elect said, we can't solve all of the world's problems alone. We need to be working with other countries. We need their cooperation. We need their partnership. But also confidence, because America, at its best, still has a greater ability than any other country on earth to bring others together to meet the challenges of our time. And that's where the men and women of the State Department, Foreign Service officers, civil servants, that's where they come in. I've witnessed their passion, their energy, their courage up close. I've seen what they do to keep us safe, to make us more prosperous. I've seen them add luster to a word that deserves our respect, diplomacy. If confirmed, it will be the honor of my life to help guide them. And so thank you all, and may God bless America.
So essentially what it looks like is going to happen is Blinken and John Kerry are going to just go around the world, right? Just looking like 2 stellar silver dudes, right? Knowledgeable, wise guys talking about climate change.
Good afternoon,
and working
Mr.
together.
President-elect,
Sounds pretty
Madam
good to
Vice
me.
President-elect. Thank you for placing your trust in me to lead the Department of Homeland Security. Thank you for the privilege of returning, with the consent of the Senate, to government service as a member of your administration. It is the honor of a lifetime. The Department of Homeland Security has a noble mission to help keep us safe and to advance our proud history as a country of welcome. There are more than 240,000 career employees who selflessly dedicate their talent and energy to this mission. Many risk their lives in doing so. I would be honored to return to the department and support these dedicated public servants in fulfilling their responsibilities and realizing our country's greatest hopes, all in partnership with the communities we serve. For 12 years, I had the privilege to stand in a federal courtroom and announce Alejandro Mayorkas on behalf of the United States of America. The words, "on behalf of the United States of America," meant everything to me and to my parents, whom I think of today and every day. My father and mother brought me to this country to escape communism. They cherished our democracy and were intensely proud to become United States citizens, as was I. I have carried that pride throughout my nearly 20 years of government service and throughout my life. My parents are not here to see this day. Mr. President-elect, Madam Vice President-elect, please know that I will work day and night in the service of our nation to ably lead the men and women of the United States Department of Homeland Security and to bring honor to my parents and to the trust you have placed in me to carry your vision for our country forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Mr. President-elect, Madam Vice President-elect, I am grateful and even more so humbled by the trust that you placed in me for this role. I'm especially honored to be standing not only by your side, but also alongside some of the most talented and inspiring public servants this country has ever seen. I know, Mr. President-elect and Madam Vice President-elect, that you have selected us not to serve you, but to serve on behalf of the American people, to help advance our security, our prosperity, our values, that the call to service in this role is what makes this nomination such a tremendous honor. If afforded the opportunity to do so, I will never forget that my role on this team is unique. Better than that of a policy advisor, I will represent to you, Congress, and the American public, the patriots who comprise our intelligence community. Mr. President-elect, you know that I have never shied away from speaking truth to power, and that will be my charge as Director of National Intelligence. I've worked for you for a long time, and I accept this nomination knowing that you would never want me to do otherwise, and that you value the perspective of the intelligence community, and that you will do so even when what I have to say may be inconvenient or difficult, and I assure you there will be those times. And finally, to our intelligence professionals, the work you do, oftentimes under the most austere conditions imaginable, is just indispensable. It will become even more complex because you will be critical to helping this administration position itself not only against threats such as cyber attacks or terrorism and the proliferation of nuclear, biological, or chemical weapons, but also those challenges that will define the next generation, from climate change to pandemics and corruption. And it would be the honor of a lifetime to be able to work alongside you once again to take these challenges on together. Thank you so much.
Eloquent speeches, yes, absolutely.
Good afternoon,
And speeches talking about
Mr. President-elect,
how they're there to work for the
Madam
American
Vice
people.
President-elect. I'm humbled
Not
and
for
honored
Biden, not
by the trust that you have placed in me
the
to
executive
become a
branch.
member of your cabinet as ambassador to the United Nations. In the years that I've worked in government, I'm always struck by
Yeah,
how
amen.
only in America would we be where we are today, where life can be hard and cruel, but there's hope in the struggle, in our dreams, where you learn to believe in yourself and that anything is possible. Like both of you, I learned from my family. Mr. President-elect, thank you for those generous words that you said about me. My parents had very little back in Louisiana where I grew up, but they gave me and my siblings everything they had. And I know how proud they would be of this day. On this day, I'm also missing my mentor, Ambassador Ed Perkins, who served as the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations under President George H.W. Bush and President Clinton, and who was also from Louisiana. He told me constantly, Linda, don't undersell yourself. And he would always do everything possible to lift me up. He passed away last week, but I know he's here with us today. And on this day, I'm thinking about the American people, my fellow career diplomats and public servants around the world. I want to say to you, America is back. Multilateralism is back. Diplomacy is back. Mr. President-elect, I've often heard you say how all politics is personal, and that's how you build relationships of trust and bridge disagreements and find common ground. And in my 35 years in the Foreign Service across 4 continents, I put a Cajun spin on it. I called it gumbo diplomacy. Wherever I was posted around the world, I'd invite people of different backgrounds and beliefs to help me make a roux and chop onions for the Holy Trinity and make homemade gumbo. It was my way of breaking down barriers, connecting with people, and starting to see each other on a human level. A bit of lagniappe is what we say in Louisiana. That's the charge in front of us today. The challenges we face, a global pandemic, the global economy, the global climate change crisis, mass migration and extreme poverty, social justice, are unrelenting and interconnected, but they're not unresolvable if America is leading the way. Thank you.
Message of hope. Yep. Yep. Wow, she was amazing. She was stellar.
Mr. President-elect, Madam Vice President-elect,
I want to hear
thank
from
you.
John Kerry. I don't think
Mr.
he's there,
President-elect,
but I wish he was.
I am honored and humbled by the immense responsibility that you placed in me of being your national security advisor. I pledge to you and to the American people that I will work relentlessly in service of the mission you have given us, to keep our country and our people safe, to advance our national interests, and to defend our values. I pledge to the exceptional national security team you see behind me, and to the brilliant and diverse career professionals across our government, that I will manage a humane and rigorous decision-making process that honors their work. And I pledge to my parents, who taught my brothers, my sister, and me to work hard, tell the truth, and serve others, that I will do my utmost to make you proud. Sir, we will be vigilant in the face of enduring threats, from nuclear weapons to terrorism. But you have also tasked us with reimagining our national security for the unprecedented combination of crises we face at home and abroad: the pandemic, the economic crisis, the climate crisis, technological disruption, threats to democracy, racial injustice, and inequality in all forms. The work of the team behind me today will contribute to progress across all of these fronts. You have also tasked us with putting people at the center of our foreign policy. You've told us that the alliances we rebuild, the institutions we lead, the agreements we sign, all of them should be judged by a basic question: will this make life better, easier, safer for families across this country? Our foreign policy has to deliver for these families. And perhaps most importantly, you've tasked us with helping unite America, as you said in your remarks, through our work, to pull people together to tackle big challenges. My wife, Maggie, the love of my life and my partner in all things, served as a senior advisor to Senator John McCain. She and I shared this commitment to common ground deep in our bones. To the American people, I had the honor of serving as Joe Biden's national security advisor when he was vice president. I learned a lot, about diplomacy, about strategy, about policy, but most importantly, about human nature. I watched him pair strength and resolve with humanity and empathy. That is the person America elected, and that is also America at its best. So, Mr. President-elect, thank you for giving this kid from the heartland an extraordinary opportunity to serve the country I love.
Man, I'm loving it so far. Hey, we're recognizing there's a pandemic. It's a big start from the executive branch. Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Mr. President-elect, Vice President-elect Harris, thank you, Mr. President-elect, for your generous words. And most of all, thank you for the trust and the responsibility of this appointment. I will do all in my power to live up to your expectations and to this moment for our country and for the world. And I begin by thanking my family for empowering me and encouraging me to take this task on. Secretary-designate Blinken, we've worked together for many years on the Foreign Relations Committee and at Foggy Bottom, and it will be a huge pleasure to partner with you again. You will be a terrific secretary. Mr. President-elect, you've put forward a bold, transformative climate plan. But you've also underscored that no country alone can solve this challenge. Even the United States, for all of our industrial strength, is responsible for only 13% of global emissions. To end this crisis, the whole world must come together. You're right to rejoin Paris on day one, and you're right to recognize that Paris alone is not enough. At the global meeting in Glasgow 1 year from now, all nations must raise ambition together, or we will all fail together. And failure is not an option. Succeeding together means tapping into the best of American ingenuity, creativity, and diplomacy, from brain power to alternative energy power, using every tool we have to get where we have to go. No one should doubt the determination of this president and vice president. They shouldn't doubt the determination of a country that went to the moon, cured supposedly incurable diseases, and beat back global tyranny to win World War II. This kind of crisis demands that kind of leadership again, and President Biden will provide it. The road ahead is exciting, actually. It means creating millions of middle-class jobs. It means less pollution in our air and ocean. It means making life healthier for citizens across the world. And it means we will strengthen the security of every nation in the world. In addressing the climate crisis, President-elect Joe Biden is determined to seize the future now and leave a healing planet to future generations. 57 years ago this week, Joe Biden and I were college kids when we lost the president who inspired both of us to try to make a difference. A president who reminded us that here on earth, God's work must truly be our own. President Joe Biden will trust in God, and he will also trust in science to guide our work on earth to protect God's creation. Mr. President-elect and Vice President-elect Harris, I look forward to getting to work. Thank you.
Brevity. I like it. He's going to need that. Standing up to these massive polluters.
Thank you, Secretary Kerry. And congratulations, Mr. President-elect, on bringing together this extraordinary team. I have always believed in the nobility of public service, and these Americans embody it. Their lives and careers are a testament to the dedication, sacrifice, and commitment to civic responsibility that have strengthened our democracy and kept America's promise alive for more than 200 years. President-elect Biden and I have long known that when we were elected, we would inherit a series of unprecedented challenges upon walking into the White House. Addressing these challenges starts with getting this pandemic under control, opening our economy responsibly, and making sure it works for working people. And we also know that our challenges will require us here at home to overcome those issues that block our ability to proceed. Our challenge here is a necessary foundation for restoring and advancing our leadership around the world. And we are ready for that work. We will need to reassemble and renew America's alliances, rebuild and strengthen the national security and foreign policy institutions that keep us safe and advance our nation's interests, and confront and combat the existential threat of climate change that endangers us all. I take these issues very seriously. My whole career has been about keeping people safe, from serving as district attorney to California's Attorney General to the United States Senate, where I have served on the Intelligence and Homeland Security committees. I've come to know firsthand the gravity of the challenges and threats facing the United States. And over the past few months, I've also come to know the sound judgment, expertise, and character of the people on this stage. I can say with confidence that they are, to a person, the right women and men for these critical positions. And I look forward to working alongside them on behalf of the American people and on behalf of a president who will ask tough questions, demand that we be guided by facts, and expect our team to speak the truth, no matter what. A president who will be focused on one thing and one thing only: doing what is best for the people of the United States of America. When Joe asked me to be his running mate, he told me about his commitment to making sure we selected a cabinet that looks like America, that reflects the best of our nation. And that's what we have done. Today's nominees and appointees come from different places. They bring a range of different life and professional experiences and perspectives. And they also share something else in common: an unwavering belief in America's ideals, an unshakable commitment to democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. And they understand the indispensable role of America's leadership in the world. These women and men are patriots and public servants to their core. And they are leaders, the leaders we need to meet the challenges of this moment and those that lie ahead. Thank you.
Thank all of you for accepting.
Yeah,
All
amazing.
right. Thank you, folks.
Yep, they're out. No questions. No questions. Wow. Okay. So, what do you guys think? It looks like the comment section is kind of divided on this one. It looks like we have a lot of people who they're tired of the talk, which look, guys, I get that. I do. After the past 4 years, it's been really tough. But this coalition of, people who want to do what's right, that's what's been building. And these speeches are only the beginning. I love that. I loved all of those speeches. Um, the idea that, and again, I think the most important thing about this is first that DHS secretary who is an immigrant, um, where we're coming from with the DHS, and let's see here. I'm gonna get to this is what's up next. But where we're coming from with our border, what's going on at the border, how we've been treating immigrants, how we've been, you know, labeling them as invaders. It's unacceptable. And that speech nominating an immigrant to that position is a, a great start. It's a great start because that man, his decisions, that is going to spread throughout a massive agency. The Border Patrol is going to change. Our border is going to change. And if you don't believe me, I live like 15 miles, like a 20-minute drive from the border, from the San Diego Tijuana border. And for the first time ever, there were military helicopters at the border every time I went down there. Like I had never seen that before. The militarization of our border. Um, it I hated it. I hated it. I would have people who last year when YouTube demonetized my channel, I had to go out and drive for Uber and Lyft, and I would have families coming in from the Midwest who would ask me if I ever went down to the border, and they would ask me like, "Oh man, doesn't that terrify you? Isn't it like scary?" And I almost wanted to say like, "Look, man, I'm just gonna drive you down there." Like, there's a mall 20 feet from the border wall. Like, there's, it's nothing like Trump wants you to think it is, right? Like Republicans want you to think it is. How far from reality we've been living is it's dangerous. And so like seeing people give these speeches and talking about bringing people together, right? And having an understanding of where people have come from, the struggles that people have had, and have had, right? Like that's really refreshing. It's really, really refreshing. And the idea that John Kerry, what is he, like 6'5"? That guy's a beast. He's going to go around with our Secretary of State and they're just going to be talking about climate change. Like, how many times did we hear climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change? And how many times have we heard that in the past 4 years? We haven't heard it from the executive branch in the past 4 years. So I'm thoroughly impressed. I that was, yeah. I'm really digging the direction that our country is going to move in with these people as our leaders, with these people who, and you know, another thing that was brought up quite frequently was the idea that like they're not going to tell Joe Biden what he wants to hear, and that's not what he wants. That's really important coming from where we've come from. That's really important. Okay, so in the comments, Phoenix is with me. He does have a bigger waddle than the turkey. Yeah, ACP says he's seen the border walls. Most of them are in bad condition. However, the people are not what the media says they are. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I did hear Mind Flayer. Um, I did hear talk about social justice, and um, so I think that's in there. Look, again, like police reform is a very, very touchy subject, and it's also going to be one that you can't just come out and just explicitly say, here's what we're going to do. It's going to be different. Like our police state is such a complex thing, and 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 people weaponize that, especially Republicans. Like, look what Donald Trump did with these protests. He acted like he was a general leading leading the war against these protesters when he walked across that street to go hold up a Bible and like basically like set the dogs loose on him, right? The dogs being like some of these police officers who were punching Australian journalists. And like, you got to remember, like, mind flayer, dude. Like, if if you talk, because I think one thing that we want to see happen a lot is we want to see people talk like they're not in politics. And that's one of the reasons why Donald Trump got a lot of attention in 2016, because people thought, oh, he's going to say, what he wants to say, and he's not going to be, corrupted by politics. When it turns out, right, like, politics is kind of something that, like, there are barriers put on people's, political speech, because it has ramifications that could be deadly for people, right? That could be violent. Um, Donald Trump talked about police officers treating people more violently. Don't put your hand on their head, like, right? When you put them in the police car, like, those small little things are signals for police officers to be more violent. And when you have like police forces in a lot of our country that have deep-seated problems with racism, and police departments that don't represent the areas in which they police, like, those things, and police officers with that have been militarized over the decades, like, people can be killed if you're not careful with how you go about changing that system. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to happen if Biden comes in and says, here, look, like, this is how it works. Because these police officers, like, they're stubborn as fuck. Excuse my language, right? They're stubborn. And they kind of, like, police officers, like, they're used to the rough and tumble, right? Like, they're physical beings, right? They're a lot of them are like, that type of job, going into that type of job, like, it requires you to be physical, to be able to fight and grapple. And like, that's not what you want to do with police reform, right? Like, we want to keep police on our side. We want to like weed out bad apples, right? But it's about, like, just helping them to help themselves, to racially diversify, right, the police force, to properly allocate resources so that police officers don't have to respond to calls specifically for mental health, right? Which I think is one thing that I would like to see, and I guess what we can say, Mind Flayer, is like, all right, so what do we want to see happen, right? Like, what do we want to see? How do we reform the police? And I think one thing is, we need to have quotas on the diversity of police departments. Police departments need to represent the people that they're policing. Police departments also need to have psych teams that can go in and respond with police officers. Like, there should be a psych unit with police officers. Like, it should essentially be a police officer and a psychologist driving around in these cars. And I think, you know, what I would also like to see is kind of a police unit that is equipped with, you know, it just not just like a shotgun and their police scanner and handcuffs, you know what I mean, and their taser, which, and I know I'm simplifying what police are equipped with, but like a medical kits, essentially like an ambulance with you know, with an ambulance, an EMT, and like an EMT, a police officer, and a psychologist. Should just be like, those should just be like the crews that drive around, you know? Like, and I think that would be a pretty reasonable way to go about approaching these like modern problems. Oh, we're people. Sorry, guys. I've been talking. Peacekeeper's not a police state. Yeah, absolutely. Alpine Gulch, hard to hear. Speakers on max. Okay. I'll kind of turn my mic up here. I just don't want to. I don't want that volume to like start to crack here. Okay, let's see if now that we just listened to amazing speeches on how we can bring the world together, right? Bring and work for the people of the United States. I mean, honestly, guys, it was really brilliant of Joe Biden's team to have that announcement, have those speeches like an hour before Donald Trump has to get up and make jokes about pardoning turkeys. Like, look, every president in like modern history has like done this, right? It's a tradition. But Donald Trump is especially terrible at it because the guy just doesn't have any like comedic timing or sense of like wit or intelligence, right? So like it's going to be especially bad, and that's why I wanted to live stream it with you guys, because I wanted us all to enjoy just how terrible like this is going to be. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Donald Trump is so out of it, right? Because he's just been pissed about the election. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if he just like ignores the written speech for him and he just starts to like rail, right? Just like talk about the election. Like, I'm gonna play for you. Did you guys see his speech from earlier today? His speech, his written remark. Let's watch this together. Let's watch what he does. Let's see if it's up yet. It should have been turned into a, yeah. It's a minute long.
Thank you very much, and I just want to congratulate everybody. The stock market Dow Jones Industrial Average just hit 30,000, which is the highest in history. We've never broken 30,000, and that's just despite everything that's taken place with the pandemic. I'm very thrilled with what's happened on the vaccine front. That's been absolutely incredible. It's nothing like that has ever happened medically, and I think people are acknowledging that, and it's having a big effect. But the stock market's just broken 30,000. Never been broken, that number. That's a sacred number, 30,000. Nobody thought they'd ever see it. That's the 9th time since the beginning of 2020. And it's the 48th time that we've broken records during the Trump administration. And I just want to congratulate all the people within the administration that work so hard. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the people of our country, because there are no people like you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Mike Pence, like a trained little puppy. Oh, sure, sir. You want me to walk out there with you? Just give an announcement on the stock market? Be my honor, sir. Yeah, Mike, we're gonna remind him that I'm leaving with a stock market that's been setting records. Ah. That was it. That was it. That's what he got that's what he got the press in that room for. Oh my goodness, guys. I think he's really just trolling people at this point. Oh, he's such a loser. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, exactly, Blake. Exactly. Like, it's pretty funny that, I mean, his supporters are all people who probably don't, like 95% of his supporters, right, are people who have no investments. Like, their lives have nothing to do with the stock market. And yet, that's what I mean, I think that's really all he cares about, because he really only cares about like his rich, like the rich people, right? It's just such a terrible reminder that Donald Trump is just a con man. He just conned millions of people into thinking that he was supporting them. Yeah. Oh, really, Phoenix? During the live stream? Yeah, see, they're all just they just so weird. They're like, this is so weird. Let's see if they have, no, they don't have any of the live streams up. All right. Well, of course he's going to be late to the pardoning. So, the turkey. Pardon the turkey. All right, Don. So we might get some jokes, but again, Donald Trump is terrible. Oh, because I have Donald Trump on that thumbnail, we're getting a lot of a lot of Trump supporters in here. Like, how are you guys still supporting this dude? Oh man. Oh boy. What a nightmare.
My humans got me this sweater.
Me too.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's in the comments here, but then there's also there's comments being made like on other videos that I'm looking at right now. Like one was about like, oh, how are you ignoring the Clintons' ties with Venezuela? On the voting machine video, on the Sidney Powell video that I made. Oh, Sidney Powell, that woman. Ooh, ooh wee. Wow, that was something else. And you know, it was that that whole that whole that whole Sidney Powell thing. Man, what I mean, she really took it to like a whole other level, but she I think what it really was just Rudy Giuliani just lashing out, because it seemed as though she kind of, during that press briefing, she was kind of towering over him, and she kind of at times like wanted to be the center of attention, which I thought was just really strange. Phoenix. You know, I know what you mean. I know what you mean about the pardoning of the the pardoning of the turkeys. Yeah. All right, Donnie. Come on, man. So, you know what? One thing I did want to tell you guys is, um, so Facebook has now launched their new like video studio for creators, and the videos that I'm putting onto Facebook have been blowing up, getting tens of thousands of views. So if you want to go over to Facebook too, the channel is RFLCTVID if you're interested. Um, and yeah, give that page a like. I think I have to get to something like 10,000 followers, something ridiculous, in order to monetize the videos over there. But yeah, once that happens, if I can monetize over there as well, like, yeah, this is gonna start to go like really quickly. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. I know ACP. See, that's I have noticed that like the comments are like a lot of hit and also like a lot of miss. People are funny. You know what's interesting about the Facebook comments is that people can post like memes, right? And like gifs and all that. And you guys should see some of the conservative memes about Joe Biden. Like half of them don't even make sense, right? But then the other half of them are just like they're just really terrible. like like uh like rude, right? Offensive, right? Like and I mean to a point where, you know, like you can have videos or memes and gifs, right? That kind of like like pushes the line. Like every conservative meme like jumps way over the line, right? It's just yeah, a little obnoxious, but I know what you mean, ACP, right? That you never mess with it. I totally get it. But I've been, because YouTube demonetized my channel in 2019. I've been like for the past year going, come on Facebook, come on, like let's start to scrape away some of the business from YouTube, just because, you know, sometimes I feel like I don't really like YouTube that much. Mm. All right. The presidential pardon of the turkey. All right. I wanted to have some fun with this one. What's going on here? Let's see what. Oh, 16 likes. Thank you guys for liking the video. Appreciate you. Well, I think you know, there's a lot of people are kind of anxious right now. You know, Congress is out. There's no stimulus relief. People are food insecure. They're having a hard time paying their rent, and with little to no protections. I mean, it's absurd. It's absurd. I'm actually, you know, I'm trying to make more and more videos to keep my earnings up. But I'm moving into an apartment actually on Saturday. So that's going to be a big change. I'm going to try to keep uploading videos, and I don't really have like a lot of stuff. Kind of like, you know, more of just, I mean, this is all I do, right? Just like make videos, like work out, eat, sleep, make videos. Like it's pretty much all I do. Um, but yeah, no, people are anxious right now. So I get it, I get it if the comment section can be a little rough for people. People are stressed. And yeah, thank you, Phoenix. Yeah. I'm really excited because this new apartment is going to be across the street from this massive park, um, that has an indoor basketball court. I play basketball, like I'll play for hours and hours and hours. I just love playing basketball. Um, and it's got an indoor court. I mean, I'm obviously not going to be able to play for, I don't know, maybe in 2021, I'll be able to get some games in. But there are some outdoor basketball courts and also tennis courts, which I really like playing too. So yeah, I'm like really excited for this new apartment. And it's also in this really cool part of San Diego where I'm going to be able to walk to all sorts of like bars and restaurants. Um, and I was actually like falling asleep last night going through Yelp, like reading the reviews of like all these cool restaurants around town, and like the number one restaurant is this Thai vegan place. So I thought, all right, that's gonna be like my first meal when I get there. Um, but yeah, no, yeah, there you go, Phoenix, 6'2". That's right, I do like basketball. Yeah, and for like I'm also like a big guy, like I'm like over 200 pounds, right? But I can move pretty quick. You know what I mean? I can move pretty quick. Um, Wendra, Thai vegan, Thai vegan, like Thai. No, whoa, Wendra, easy on the easy on the racism there. Um, yeah. So um, yeah, so I'm really excited because that way I'll be able to. What I've been doing is I've been getting up and like going for like workouts in the mornings. There's this massive convention center here in San Diego with these stairwells that they're known for like being the place to work out. Because it's really cool once you get to the top of the stairs, you turn around to go back down, and like the city skyline is is basically your view. And then on the other side of the convention center, you're uh, like 30 feet from the water's edge. And so the other side of the convention center is this amazing view of the Coronado Bridge and the San Diego Bay and Coronado Island and Point Loma. Uh, just an amazing place to work out. So in the new place, I'm going to be working out at this park. Um, so that'll be cool. Maybe I'll like get up and go shoot some hoops in the morning. Um, I was hit by a car in December of last year. There was a parking valet in San Diego who decided he needed to really get the car to the garage, and so he drove into oncoming traffic and put me over his hood. And so I've been having knee problems ever since then. So um, yeah, so that's been rough. So I really need to like work on stretching this and getting that going. Yeah, yeah, Phoenix. That was a nightmare. That was a nightmare. That was not fun. And I mean, because I'm so active, like it's really been a tough year. It's like demonetization, hit by a car, lost the apartment, like pandemic. Like it's just been, it's been rough. So I'm hanging in there, you know. And you guys are great, and making videos and having this community has been awesome. So Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Let's see, it's 11:22. It's still getting cool. All right, I will be right back. And Trump's coming on soon. He's coming on. He's probably having a meltdown. You know, probably having a meltdown somewhere, doing something. He probably doesn't. I'm telling you, he probably doesn't want to do this. Like that would not surprise me.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and Mrs. Trump.
Well, thank you very much, please. And I just want to congratulate everybody. The Dow Jones Industrial Average just broke for the first time in history 30,000. It's now, that's good. It's great for jobs and it's good for everything. And this is the 9th time that we set a record during the course of 2020, and it's the 48th time that we've set the record during the Trump administration. And there's never been anything like that. So I just want to congratulate everybody that worked so hard in the White House, but maybe most importantly, the people of our country. It's a tremendous achievement. The First Lady and I are thrilled to welcome you all to the beautiful Rose Garden, where the First Lady actually worked very hard on renovating it. It was 61 years. It was in rough shape. Very big job, actually, when you go to the wires underground. People have no idea how complex it is, but you've done a fantastic job. Thank you very much. And we're also very happy to have with us my daughter Ivanka and Jared.
Oh, really? They're
Theodore,
there.
Arabella, Joseph, thank you very much for coming.
Pardon everyone, Donald.
You like the turkey? Thank you very much. On behalf of the entire Trump family, I want to wish every American a healthy and very happy Thanksgiving. We're here today to continue a beloved annual tradition, the official presidential pardon of a very, very fortunate turkey. Because Thanksgiving is a special day for turkeys. I guess probably for the most part not a very good one when you think about it. The first turkey to dodge the White House dinner table received unofficial clemency when President Abraham Lincoln's son, Tad, begged his father to spare his new friend. For the past 73 years, the National Turkey Federation has presented the national Thanksgiving turkey to the president, starting under President George H.W. Bush. These birds have received a formal pardon every single year. Today it is my honor to present to you this year's lucky bird, corn, and just in case we needed him, Cobb. Corn and Cobb. That's not too hard to remember, is it? These two magnificent gobblers were selected from the official presidential flock of 30 turkeys, some real beauties. They were raised by the chairman of the National Turkey Federation himself, Ron Cardell. Ron, thank you very much, Ron. Please stand up. Great job. Ron, thank you for being here, and your family, beautiful family, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it. Like so many presidential flocks, this one started in the great state of Iowa in what can only be described as an act of blatant pandering. And by the way, I love the state of Iowa. These two turkeys sought to win the support of Iowans
when they cheated in that whole
state by naming themselves
in the primaries.
Corn and Cobb. After today's ceremony, these birds will retire under the care of skilled veterinarians at Iowa State University, a tremendous university in Ames. Once there, people of all ages will be able to visit them and learn about poultry science, veterinary medicine, and the noble American tradition of farming. We love our farmers, I'll tell you. And we hope, and we know that's going to happen, that Corn and Cobb have a very long, happy, and memorable life. This year, our nation commemorates the 400th anniversary of the Pilgrims landing on Plymouth Rock. After arriving in the New World, the brave men and women of the Mayflower endured a bitter and dangerous winter, very, very dangerous winter. Many were sick, most were starving, and all were praying for a miracle.
Man,
thankfully, God heard their prayers.
To hear you say very,
From
very
our earliest
winter,
days,
Don.
America has always been a story of perseverance and triumph, determination and strength, loyalty and faith.
At everything.
This week, in a time that is very unusual, but in so many ways very, very good, what we've endured and been able to endure, with the vaccines now coming out one after another, it's an incredible thing that happened. One of the greatest medical achievements that this planet has ever seen. But it's time to remember that we live in a great, great country, the greatest of them all.
So awkward.
And there's nothing even close as far as I'm concerned. Every American can be united in thanksgiving to God. for the incredible gifts he has bestowed upon us, the blessings of family, community, and this
Lonnie's like,
exceptional,
Donald, you can't even read.
beautiful, and great country. It's greater than ever before.
Please
During
shut
this
up.
Thanksgiving, we
Stop
extend
going
our
off.
eternal gratitude
Please
to the
just read
doctors,
this, man.
nurses, healthcare workers, and scientists who have waged the battle against the China virus. And we give thanks for the vaccines and therapies that will soon end the pandemic. It's just such a tremendous feeling to know that they're coming, and they'll be coming probably starting next week or shortly thereafter. We send our love to every member of the armed forces and the law enforcement heroes risking their lives to keep America safe, to keep America great, and as I say, America first.
Was that the turkey?
Shouldn't go
Was that
away
the turkey?
From that. America first. We give
Applaud all
thanks
you
to
want,
the
y'all.
priceless freedoms that
80 million
we've
people
inherited,
just
and we ask God to watch over
said
and
you're
protect
America
our
first.
nation and its people
Bogus
during this
for Trump
incredible
first.
holiday and
You're
in
bogus,
all of
man.
the years to come. We ask that of God. Once again, Melania and I wish to thank everybody for your incredible courtesies and also wish you a happy Thanksgiving. And now it's time for the moment of
ACP.
our guest of honor.
Nice.
They've been waiting, and in this case, he's been waiting for this. And bring him out. Look at that beautiful, beautiful bird. Oh, so lucky. That is a lucky bird.
Oh, you guys got jokes? At least somebody's trying to be humorous, because Donald sure as hell ain't.
Corn, I hereby grant you a full pardon. Thank you, Corn. What a great.
That speech sucked. Donald Trump, you're terrible, man.
Iowa Farm. I knew I liked you for That's great. Beautiful.
Terrible, dude. Just wave and go inside.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Thank you very much.
Terrible. Play him out. What a nightmare. Oh, this nightmare's almost over. Oh my god. Oh. Reporters are yelling at him. What a nightmare. That's just, you're supposed to be telling jokes there, man, and he's just, stock market's huge, vaccines are coming, I'm awesome. I'm honestly surprised he wasn't just like, you know what, screw this, just rips it up. I won. And Joe Biden is a loser. Well, how disappointing. How disappointing. But again, you go from event heartwarming and you know, the Joe Biden cabinet speaking about working for the American people, speaking about fixing, you know, working to fight climate change, to work on improving our relations around the world, improving our homeland, right? Social justice reform, to that, whatever that was. Like, you can tell pretty much everyone at the White House is already checked out, and they're like, all right, man, let's just get this over with, right? Like, oh, we got to write a speech for him? Yeah, all right. Like, that maybe took somebody, like, you know, 15 minutes to write. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Well, I need to go get some food. But thank you guys for tuning in. I wish we had a better event. You know what I mean? I wish we had a funnier event. But it's Donald Trump. So, like, you know, Probably not. I hope you guys are all having a good Thanksgiving week. A couple more days before we stuff our bellies, you know. Yeah, speaking of stuffing bellies, I need to go do that. So leave a like on the video. And if you're brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. And special thanks to Phoenix for becoming the latest member, and Lori Melchi for becoming the newest subscriber. All right. Mind Flayer, ACP, Phoenix, Mantis. I will catch you guys next time.